Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 12th of December 2022. First real bit of snow this winter in these parts, so I'll just give you a little bit of a view of it, although you probably don't need to see it really unless you live in a hot country where it never snows, but that's what it looks like around here at the moment. I don't think any more snow is forecast, and it'll probably be gone within a few days, which is normally the case. Don't normally get it too bad most winters here in this part of the world. Anyway, with that said, a bit of housekeeping. 18th of February 2023. I know it's a little way away yet, a good couple of months or so, but make a note of it, put it in your diary, because there is going to be a shopping trip with a difference. You know how over the last week I've been banging on about the Oxford thing, 15-minute cities, how it's going to be trialled in Oxford, and how that is going to be very, very, very bad news. Well, a shopping trip is going to be happening in Oxford on the 18th of February 2023, and the exact location and the time is yet to be announced. Probably be about 1 o'clock in the city centre, I'd have thought, but well, I'll let you know closer to the time. But I think it's important, well, I'm certainly going to go along there. I think it's important to get along and show the powers that shouldn't be in Oxford how we the people just do not want their nonsensical 15-minute cities. So it'd be great if there's a really big turnout just to show them our displeasure. So I saw some facts and figures over the weekend, so-called facts and figures from the UK government. Official lurgy deaths apparently stands at 177,000 and something, between 177 and 178,000 people who have passed away within 28 days of a lurgy test. And if you then take it as the number of people who have got lurgy on their death certificate, the figure jumps up to, I think it was 210,000 and something. Of course, we know that those figures are absolute nonsense. You know, being tested with a worse than useless test to tell you that you've got the lurgy and then passing away within 28 days of that useless test and having that death classified as a lurgy death, even though in reality it might be injuries from being knocked down by a bus that has caused the death. But no, it's classified as a lurgy death, of course. And we know, I don't really know why I'm telling you this, because you and I know these figures are absolute nonsense. And I think when they've done freedom of information requests asking how many people have actually died of the lurgy, then rather than just with the lurgy, it comes down to only a few thousand, doesn't it? But that's not what the mainstream sees, is it? Mainstream media, sort of Joe Public out there, they just see these figures. You know, if they Googled how many people have died of the lurgy, it'd pop up with these figures, you know, sort of around 200,000 deaths. And of course, they then think to themselves, oh, blimey, you know, it's a really bad thing, wasn't it? And these people who denied it ever happened, well, they're just crazy, aren't they? And then you've got that uphill struggle, haven't you, saying, well, no, as I've just explained, you've got all these criteria here, these factors here, which means that those figures are absolute nonsense. But that's not how they'll see it. And my theory is, going forward, that are we just going to have a public who are totally convinced that there really was a lurgy around sort of kind of 2020 to 2022, and that's how people will think evermore sort of thing. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope it all comes out how nonsensical it all was, and I think it is in little ways here and there, but the dam's breaking ever so slowly, and I just wish something would come out where everybody would go, all right, you know, you were right, we are wrong. It'd just be so nice to be vindicated, because if it just carries on like this, yeah, most people are just going to regard us, rather than regarding the likes of you and everybody who stood up to this as the heroes they deserve to be looked upon. They're just going to be looked upon as sort of nutcases. And I did sort of talk about this in my newsletter yesterday, which went out last night, and even though it might be a bit galling if that does end up being the case, at least you can take consolation that you didn't fall for the nonsense yourself. You saw through the BS, and you possibly even saved lives. You certainly saved your own, quite probably, by not taking the thing, or by not taking subsequent treatments, you know, whether you gave up on after 1, 2, whatever it is. You've quite probably saved your life there as well, and many people I know will have saved the lives of others. You know, talking to people, you know, a year ago, 2 years ago, saying, hang on a minute, let's just hold our horses a bit, and you know, let's see if this thing really is what it's cracked up to be. And if you've done that and you've stopped people from getting a thing, or at least multiple treatments, I think you can be very proud of yourself. And doesn't matter what happens going forward, you can be very, very proud of yourself that you did that. And yeah, it would be nice if the whole thing broke wide open, you know, whistleblowers started coming out left, right and centre and saying, oh yeah, you know, yeah, it was a big old load of nonsense. If it doesn't happen, you know, you've done enough. I think you've done enough, and you've done enough to be very proud of yourself as well. So I do think things are opening up, or more and more information is coming out, which is opening up more and more people's eyes. And I think there are plenty of people out there now who certainly wouldn't look upon the likes of you and me as nutcases. Quite a few people you know that we're right. They might not want to admit it. I think there's a lot of that going on. A lot of people do not, especially when they look back and see how awful they were to the likes of you and me. They might not want to admit, yeah, you were right all along, just from a personal pride thing or whatever, or just don't like being proved wrong. But I think deep down, many people out there, probably maybe getting on 40 or even over 50% of people, kind of, I think, at least on a deep down level, know that the likes of you and me were right all along. It would just be nice if more people told us that, really, said, oh, sorry to have doubted you, and yeah, well done for spotting the truth before we did. I know some people are. When I was talking to Jackie Devoy the other week in that interview, you know, at that event I went to in Burgess Hill, she was kind of coming out with, oh, it'd just be so nice if people said, yeah, you know, you were right, because she hasn't had that either. I haven't had it, she hadn't had it, and I know many people haven't. But I know some people have been vindicated and had friends saying, oh yeah, I think you might have been right. Please leave a comment in the comment section below, by the way, if that's you, if you have had people saying, yeah, you know what, I think you might have been right all along. I know Matt Le Tissier in one of his interviews, because apparently he plays a lot of golf and he normally plays with 3 other guys, and he said that 18 months ago all 3 of them just thought he was absolutely crazy for taking his stance. And then more recently, this kind of summer of this year, he was saying this. 2 out of the 3 of them have now come around to his way of thinking and have said to him, yeah, I think you might have been right all along, Matt. So it is happening. Some people are getting it. And yeah, it'd be interesting to hear if you've had anything like that. So yeah, like I say, put that in the comment section below. So I think I'll leave it there. Probably a bit of a ramble today, really. Started off with talking about snow and ended up talking about Matt Le Tissier and his golfing buddies. So and that's just kind of flowed out of my head. I don't know what happens in my head sometimes, but that's just the way I roll, really. But that's enough of that for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.